Paige, a 26-year-old office worker. 4 years have passed since I started working as a professional, and I stay busy every day. Right now, what's troubling me the most is a woman named Samantha Hawkins who recently joined our company. She's 3 years younger than me, and her timing for joining was, well, oddly off. It turns out Samantha's the daughter of the president of one of our client companies. Apparently, our executive director couldn't refuse when asked to hire her as a favor. I've been assigned as her mentor, but honestly, she's quite the handful, and I'm struggling to manage her.
Paige, about Miss Hawkins, the new hire starting tomorrow. Well, I'm sure you've heard the rumors.
Yeah, to be honest, how do I put this? Is nepotism still a thing nowadays?
Well, here's the deal. Her father and I are golf buddies, and he begged me to teach her a bit about the real world before she gets married. I couldn't turn him down.
Excuse me? Golf buddies? With all due respect, sir, don't you think that's a bit of a conflict of interest? Still, even if she's a nepotism hire, she'll need to do her work properly or the other employees will definitely complain.
You're right. I admit I may have agreed a bit too hastily on this one, and I regret it. But the promise has already been made.
Unbelievable. He says it so casually, but doesn't he realize we're the ones who'll have to clean up the mess? Seriously!
That's why I have a favor to ask of you, Paige.
Oh no, I've got a bad feeling about this. He wants me to take charge of training the new hire. He's counting on me. Of course, it's always me. Me? Are you sure about that?
Absolutely. I think you're the perfect person for the job. I mean, Paige, you can handle anything, right? So I'm counting on you. Thank you in advance.
Before I could even protest, the executive director quickly left the room. Ugh, he's a capable boss and generally nice guy, but he can be such a smooth talker sometimes. He probably just said, "Sure, no problem," without thinking it through. Well, it's part of my job, and if it's an office order, I don't have much choice. I'll just have to do my best. So I was roped into being Mrs. Hawkins' mentor. But I had no idea that she would turn out to be an even bigger problem than I had imagined, a total delinquent type. On her very first day, she showed up late, and her outfit, let's just say it was far from professional, flashy, revealing, and over the top. Her makeup was so heavy it looked like she was heading to a nightclub instead of an office. Was she even in the right place? Her manners were non-existent. She didn't even bother with a proper greeting. Then, when she finally noticed me, she smirked and said, "Look at you, a bespectacled, bob-haired, ugly boss. Oh, this is gonna be so fun." I mean, seriously? She doesn't seem motivated to work at all, and just the other day, "Miss Hawkins, could you make 10 copies of this document for me?" "Sure, got it." With that, Mrs. Hawkins took the document and disappeared, but it wasn't until an hour later that she finally came back. To make things worse, I found out she had dumped the task onto one of our temp staff. "What were you doing for an hour?" By the way, I got a complaint from the temp worker. She said she was busy with other tasks, but you insisted she drop everything to do the copying for you. Even when I addressed her in a firm tone, Miss Hawkins couldn't care less. "Well, I got thirsty, you know. Besides, making copies isn't exactly a task for a full-time employee. It's not worth my time, honestly." Unbelievable. Who does she think she is, messing up someone else's work and acting all high and mighty? Look, Miss Hawkins, I specifically asked you to do this task. You need to handle your own responsibilities properly. I think you're misunderstanding something. Our temp staff isn't your subordinate. Plus, seriously, what were you doing for an hour after pushing your work onto someone else? Miss Paige, the way you explain things is so overly logical. I really don't get it, you know. Overly logical? Where's the logic in that? Oh, right. Starbucks launched a new drink today, so I just took a little break to try it out. The durian frappuccino is amazing, by the way. Totally recommend it. It was so good. What the heck? Give me a break. That's not even the half of it. Miss Hawkins is a walking disaster. She's constantly on her phone during work hours, leaves her desk every hour to touch up her makeup, and no matter how many times I explain something, she never listens or remembers anything. I've tried pointing these things out, but she just doesn't change. It's like talking to a wall or pouring water on a duck's back. But no matter how frustrating she is, I've got to step up and whip her into shape. This is my responsibility, and I won't let her drag the team down. Today, the phone kept ringing endlessly, and Miss Hawkins just wouldn't pick it up, so I had to address it. Miss Hawkins, when the phone rings, you need to answer it right away. You're the only one available right now. But I don't want to pick up calls from people I don't know. Besides, answering phones isn't really my job, you know? What the heck? I was so shocked I almost fell over. Well then, what exactly is your job? Why are you even here at the company? I pressed her, genuinely baffled. This is what she had the audacity to say? I've been doing whatever I want since the day I was born. Don't you think someone like me is meant to be in a leadership role? Stuff like copying and answering phones, that's grunt work for people at the bottom, right? Honestly, I don't think it's my job at all. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Who exactly do you mean by people at the bottom? Even our company president makes their own copies and answers calls. Wait a second. Don't tell me you actually think you're some kind of capable, high-achieving professional. Well, of course, someone as talented and competent as me should be involved in product planning or business strategy. Oh, and I think I'd be great at sales too, with my visual appeal. Whoa, I was speechless. A self-proclaimed capable professional who can't even answer a phone properly or use polite language? I see. Well, that's something. I mean, having high aspirations is commendable, but maybe jumping straight into the planning is a bit much. You should start by mastering the basics first. Why though? I don't want to work under you anymore, Miss Page. You just make me do all the boring, annoying stuff. What do you think I am? Who do I think she is? A brand new, completely inexperienced employee, obviously. I am so tired of doing dull, repetitive tasks every day. I want to sit in on meetings and share my ideas or go out on exciting business trips. I thought joining a company would make me a powerful, career-driven woman, like in the dramas, but this isn't what I signed up for. Her childish outburst left me utterly dumbfounded, but since I'd been assigned as her mentor, I couldn't just leave her like this. All right then, why don't you try drafting a proposal? I made the suggestion knowing full well it was a reckless idea. There was no way she could actually create a proper proposal. My real hope was that by attempting it, she'd realize just how far she had to go and maybe develop some humility. Wait, really? Are you serious? Yay! She exclaimed, practically bouncing with excitement. Miss Hawkins, obviously, to my inner frustration, was genuinely thrilled. What was she even thinking? There's no way she could create a decent proposal. A week later, the proposal she handed me, having done everything on her own, was, well, let's just say even a grade schooler could have done a better job. The quality was shockingly poor, but Miss Hawkins, on the other hand, she seemed extremely pleased with herself. Wow, I am so exhausted. I feel like I poured all my talent into this. This proposal is going to land us so many contracts. It's amazing, isn't it? She said before promptly returning to scrolling through her phone as usual. No, absolutely not. Sorry to break it to you, but there is no way we can present a proposal like this. It needs a lot of revisions. Huh? What are you even talking about, revisions? I gave it my all, so now it's your problem. Fix it yourself, she replied, her tone dripping with condescension. Why is she acting so high and mighty? This isn't going to work. Your proposal is full of typos and grammatical errors. The content doesn't make any sense. And while the charts and graphs look good, everything else is completely incoherent. Also, even these graphs and charts, you begged the temp staff to help you, didn't you? Look, you even got the client's company name wrong. As I pointed out each mistake, Samantha's smug expression slowly faded. Excuse me? Who do you think you are, nitpicking every little thing? What's your deal? I'm your supervisor. I'm trying to support you so you can become a competent employee. But then she shot back, looking down on me like I was beneath her. Well, I'm the daughter of a company president, okay? I don't have to take orders from a lowly employee like you. Ugh, you're so annoying. I beg your pardon? Excuse me? Enough of this nonsense. You're getting paid to work, so do your job properly. Even I couldn't hold back my anger anymore, and my tone turned sharp. Samantha, however, responded with, Honestly, I don't even need a salary to live, so don't lump me in with the commoners, okay? This planning stuff is more annoying than I thought. Maybe I'm better suited for sales. Yeah, I'll give that a try next. Snap. That was the final straw. Her ridiculous words had officially pushed me over the edge. This clueless, entitled girl. Fine. You want to play that game? Let's see how capable you really are. I can already see how this will end with you begging for mercy. All right then, go ahead and do whatever you want. Miss Hawkins blinked, taken aback. Huh? Wait, are you sure? Yes, by all means, feel free to do as you like. Just be prepared to take full responsibility for whatever happens. Woohoo! Awesome! Just like that, I decided to stop supervising her entirely and let her do whatever she wanted. Of course, I explained the situation to the executive director and asked to be relieved of my role as her mentor. I can't do this anymore. I just can't work with someone as impossible as her. The executive director nodded sympathetically.
Yeah, I figured as much. If even you're throwing in the towel, she must be something else. We don't have room in this company for someone with no motivation or ability. But since we owe her dad a favor, we can't exactly fire her. Let's just leave her to self-destruct and disappear naturally.
Wow, the executive director sure is ruthless. Or was this their plan all along? I couldn't quite figure out their true intentions, but hey, with their approval, all I had to do now was wait for that clueless disaster of a girl to mess up. A week later, Miss Hawkins was running wild, crashing meetings uninvited, barging into client offices to pitch sales without appointments, and generally doing whatever she pleased. Complaints from other employees poured in, but she couldn't care less. They're all just jealous because I'm the president's daughter and can do everything. It's not my fault I'm special. Then one day, the inevitable happened. A call came in from one of our clients.
Hey, Paige! That woman showed up today completely unannounced, mind you, and shoved a contract at me. She even said, if you don't sign, I'll tell my daddy on you. She's throwing a tantrum in the meeting room right now. Oh, and as you requested, I recorded everything. Every single word. You're gonna love this.
Thank you so much. You've been a huge help. Actually, after I handed Miss Hawkins a list of potential clients, I preemptively asked the clients to record the conversation in case our clueless employees showed up. Even the usually serious clients were totally on board, and it turned out to be quite the fun event for everyone. I wasted no time, and with the recorded conversation as evidence, I confronted her. So here's the deal. What you've done is something we simply cannot condone as a company. As a professional, your actions were completely unacceptable. What? But, Miss Page, you told me to do whatever I wanted. Also, with sales, isn't it all about closing the deal? Absolutely not. What you did has severely damaged our company's reputation. What? What are you talking about? Who do you think you are, acting all high and mighty? You didn't teach me properly in the first place. Well, hearing that now doesn't really help me. It's all your fault. I'm going to tell my daddy. You're going to get fired. She just doesn't get it. Fine, do whatever you want. What? You're okay with being fired? I'm serious. You'll see just how powerful the president's daughter can be. I let out a big sigh and finally snapped. Shut up! Don't think you're the only president's daughter here. I am too. That's right. Actually, the executive director of this company is my father, and the president is my mother. Of course, we maintain a professional relationship within the company, so only a few people know about it. I've pretended not to know them ever since I joined because I didn't want any special treatment. But to be completely honest, my grandfather, who used to be the president before my mother, Penny, now secretly works as a janitor, and my grandmother, the founder, serves meals in the cafeteria. It seems like my retired parents enjoy seeing all the company's information. They think it's fun. Well, they try to stay under the radar, but sometimes they end up standing out. Regarding this situation my dad casually agreed to, I've managed to handle it with patience, thanks to my family watching over me. Wait, what? The president's daughter? From this company, Panichi Collection? A company that's more than 10 times the size of ours. Is that for real? Well, it's not just 10 times. Hawkins Inc., the company I mentioned, is a subcontractor for us. And they only have about 20 employees, right? Meanwhile, we have 60 janitors, all friends of my grandfather, and 38 women from my grandmother's group in the color department. But that's besides the point. So yeah, I'm the president's daughter too. Why didn't you say anything? You're the president's daughter of such a big company. You should act like one. Why are you dressed so plain and looking so shabby? Wait, what? Is she flipping out now? Seriously, there are tons of president's daughters out there. Plus, the one who's important is the president, not their daughter. What are you even so puffed up about? Miss Hawkins was left speechless, completely defeated. Ugh, this is so frustrating. Now let's see who gets fired. The one who did nothing, ignored their boss, and acted however they liked. That would be... who again? I'm sorry. Please don't tell my daddy. What should I do now? Actually, I already reported her to Dad. Not through me, but through my mother, the president. Turns out, Mrs. Hawkins' dad knows one of my mom Penny's underlings. Apparently, he heard a lot about her from that guy. The first time they met her, her dad was stumbling over his words like, hello, and thank you for your hard work. It was a mess. Right then, Penny got so mad at him, scolding him for not knowing how to speak properly, even though he's a president. She yelled at him for 4 hours. Ever since that day, her dad has been terrified of Penny. Please forgive me. Well, even if I forgive him, I doubt my mother, the president, would. Taking her on as an enemy, he really doesn't know the world. That day, a huge storm hit the president's office, and every window in the building was shaking from the loud noise. Or so I heard. You should have disciplined your own daughter properly at home. This isn't kindergarten.
I'm sorry.
And you, executive director, stop agreeing to everything so easily. Because of you, the employees are the ones suffering.
I'm sorry.
After that, Miss Hawkins was dragged out of the company by her father and never returned. As for her dad's company, it faced the brunt of my mother's anger, and their business relationship was cut off. It quickly went bankrupt, losing everything, the company assets, everything. Now they live in a shabby apartment and are basically making ends meet with part-time jobs. As for me, peace has finally returned, and I was able to focus on work again.
Hey, Paige!
Grandpa, you promised you wouldn't talk to me at work.
Oh, sorry. Actually, I overheard some rather troublesome rumors.
Again? Were you eavesdropping while pretending to clean the bathroom?
Don't say it like that. Let's call it human observation, shall we?
So what's going on?
Well, actually...
What? Oh, that's serious.
Grandma's already secretly working behind the scenes to gather information. As for me, I'm thinking of diving in like Spider-Man and investigating.
No, Grandpa, stay out of it.
I can't do that. I've already ordered the costume from Amazon for this purpose.
I said no!
Mm.
Anyway, I can't sit here doing nothing. I need to tell my mom right away.
Thank you for watching! What kind of crazy people will we get to see next? Stay tuned for more!